Now, I want you to follow me here because a gentleman by the name of Mr. Robert Bacall, who is a management consultant to Fortune 500 companies, he identifies 4 processes or 4 stages that people go through. They call cycles of change whenever things begin to change and things begin to transition. He said they go through denial, they go through anger and resentment, they go through finally exploration and acceptance, and ultimately they go through a stage of commitment. And each of these stages have interesting responses to the various things that are going on. When you're in the denial stage, you have people saying, well, I'll believe it when I see it. And really what they're saying is that's their way of coping with the changes that are happening, and they're hoping that they're not going to have to change too and say, yeah, okay, well, we'll see what happens. The next stage is anger and resentment, and you'll hear them saying things like, oh, no, they didn't. Who moved my cheese? or they'll go, I'm not going to stand for this. I'm resistant to it. People who are in that anger and resistance stage have a tendency to move into either covert or overt acts of resistance. They're saying, I'm not with it, I don't like it, I don't understand it, and I'm mad about it. Then they go through this stage called exploration and acceptance. And in this stage, people are starting to kind of check it out. They're kind of seeing what's going on in there, and they're exploring, and they're saying, well, maybe. This just might work. There just might be something to this. They're not exactly hostile. They're still a little bit hot about it, still a little bit angry, but they're starting to be a little more accepting. They're starting to kind of check it out on the sly. They're kind of sneaking and peeking at it and kind of saying, well, I'm not going to fight it, but there just might be something to it. And they're in that exploration, moving to the acceptance stage. But finally, there's a stage called commitment. And this is the payoff stage. They know that change is a reality. They know that things are about to transpire, and they're committed. They've committed themselves now to making things work and to make things happen. And you'll hear them saying things like, okay, I'm with it. I'm committed to it. I want to be involved in it. It's been said that there are 3 kinds of people in the world: those who make things happen, those who wonder what happened, and those who watch things happen. When you're in that commitment stage, you become a make it happen person. You're not going to sit around and watch things happen or fight against it or resist it. You are a person who is decided, I'm going to put my shoulder to the wheel. I'm going to put my resources, my energy, my time into it because I believe in what we're doing. I'm committed to what we're doing, and I'm going to put my shoulder to the wheel. Even when it comes to of the 4 stages, denial and anger and acceptance and finally commitment, of the 4 stages, the anger and resentment stage is the most critical, because we're always afraid of things that we don't understand. It comes out as fear, it comes out as anger, but it's really fear. Whenever things change on your job or change in your community or change in our nation, we just saw a monumental change in our leadership of this country, and a lot of people reacted angrily, but really they acted angrily because they were afraid. People want to know at the end of the day, what does this mean for me? I understand things are being shifted. I understand things are being moved around. But at the end of the day, I want to know, what does this mean for me? And they want to know, what does this mean for what I have to do? Where do I fit in the grand scheme of things? And so it comes out as anger, but it's really fear. We're like that with people. We're afraid of people that we don't understand. And instead of having open dialogue with people to understand where they're coming from, we react angrily and with prejudice. But if we just took a moment to sit down and have dialogue and to begin to listen and begin to see things from their perspective, it would change how we deal with people. It would cause some of the fear to dissipate, and the anger and the hostility will begin to fall away. And people's hostile reaction to change oftentimes necessitates a wise and a compassionate leader to navigate them through that critical stage, because without us being navigated through that critical stage, we will never get to the place of acceptance and commitment and find our place.